This is a class. We said we have to start with a class. We create the template. Now, from the template, we create an object. Let me share my notebook. Let me share now my notebook so that we be together when we are talking about these things. Let me share my notebook. Let me share my notebook. Where is it? Yes, yes, yes. This is my notebook. I hope everyone can see it. I can't see it. So, in this notebook, we have started with a class. We have talked about a class and an object. And now here comes. When I want, yes, I can write, when I want to create a class, I have to predefine the attributes that an object must have. Like I don't need to create, if I create an object A, then I come and create the attributes again and again. I have just to predefine them using a constructor. And here is the constructor. So what's a constructor? So it's a constructor, we can think, in this case, we can talk about a function that is being initialized, immediately create an object. So this means like, obviously the object will have these attributes. So these are constructor. Let me comment it. You know, need the question. These are constructor. So when when you create an object, obvious that object will have these attributes. So how do we create a constructor? You have to give you be the precedence of two underscores, then write init, which is meaning initializing. But just write init. That's how it will work. Then later on, two double scores. The other thing you should not forget when creating a constructor, not even a constructor, even a method, is the self. What? Why do we put the self? Why do we put the self attribute? So self attribute is referring to the instance. Let's talk about this. Here is the object, my dog. This is the instance. So I'm talking about this instance. So self, I'm talking about if I create an object, then I'm referring to it by saying self. Gee, I can say myself. This maybe there's a colleague. He calls himself self. So when he creates his own, he fills his own data. Like he's just initializing his own object. So the other thing we have talked about is that a class have attributes. So attributes is the data we need to pass in a class. These are the data we are required. These are requirements that you have to put in a class, or the data itself that you can manipulate in an object. But don't forget, this whole thing is a class. So our class is called dog. Don't forget about giving a keyword class. Class dog. If you put an uppercase here, then it won't work. If I replace with an uppercase, it won't work. And you see there's a syntax error, but you have to put the lowercase. I think it's different from Java, C++, and other things. Yeah. So after that, we have talked about the attributes. Then the other thing is the methods. So what's a method? We said a method is a function a method is a function in a class. So here, in our case, the method is back. This is our method, guys. And then As you can see, I said don't forget to write this keyword self. We are referring to this instance. So self. So when I call this class, I'm able to get the attributes of the same class. The attributes, if I initialize with, if I give, let's take a case like my dog. This is an object with my name, with the name my dog. So my dog has a name, Buddy, which is referring to this. It has the breed, which is golden retriever. Uh, I don't know whether you know that dog, but anyway, just for application purposes. So the breed is the retriever, but we said the name is the Buddy. But what if we would have ignored the self? Then we would not been talking about an object. So self is a must. Don't forget to write the self. So I created another instance or an object. So he said an object is an instance. So I've created another state. Like I've created another instance. No, this is my dog. So my dog with the name Buddy. I don't know. Let me call. Can I call it Collins or can I call it? Let me call it Bosco. Anyway, that's my dog with a name. That's your dog, not my dog. Your dog with the name Bosco. With the breed of the dog is now German Shepherd. Remember, we have used the same class to create an object, my dog, and later on we have used the same instance at the same class to create an object, your dog, not my dog, your dog. So I created my dog and now you create your dog. But now, here's the interesting thing we have talked about reusability. Have we defined the attributes? We have talked the name is equal to Buddy, breed is equal to golden retriever, then repeat. Now we are reducing even the size of the code. So even redundancy is reduced. You don't need to repeat yourself. So now we have talked about a class can have attributes and can have methods. But now how do you access these attributes? Yes, we have created an instance and given it attributes. We said, for example, here Buddy is the name, golden retriever is the breed. For my second object, Bosco is the name, and German Shepherd is the breed. So how do I access these attributes? You just access them using the my dog dot name. So if this is the object my dog, I want to access its name. So I just have to write my dog dot name. Let me comment this one so that I want you to get this point. Very important. So if I call my dog dot name, my object my dog dot name, you can see it have the name Buddy. Isn't it what we wrote here? Yes, I hope that is clear. No, I want us to talk about, or I can just get the attribute of the your dog object. Your dog. Yes, your dog. Your dog object. You can see it's called Bosco. Yes, I think you have eyes, guys. So now, how do I call this action or the method? Yes, it have to be just after writing the name of the method, give it a parenthesis. Now after writing the parenthesis, now you are able to get what this dog can do. Yes, the dog can bark. Yes. So yeah, let's see. And don't forget, we said that the method can manipulate the data given in an object. So for example, here the method bark have used the name of that instance. So for example, in our case, my dog, the name was Buddy. And now here, the name is used. You see, Buddy says wolf. But what about here? We say self.name says wolf. So yeah, here's why it have used the attribute. As you can see. Yeah. That's all. Let's continue. I think I explained even this one. Talk about the init method of the constructor. So he said a constructor is called immediately after you create an object. So if I want to create an object, in my case, let me comment this one so that we can be together. So here is my class student. A student, we have created now a constructor inside the class. So this is a method, but now we call it a constructor because it's called immediately after we create an object. So this student has a name, has a age, and the student ID. Yes. Now we we don't just write the attributes, then we just leave them there. You have to indicate if I create an object, I'm referring to it there. So you have to write self.name is equal to name, self.age is equal to age, and self.student ID is equal to student ID. And also, an attribute can also be a list. An attribute can also be a list. So I can say I have known these courses, but now I give them in a list. So I hope from the second session we talked about a list. I hope you remember. So yeah, those are the basics. So now we have a method introduce, but I said don't forget to write self inside the parentheses after introduce. Now I can say that this student, I want to introduce him. So I can say, hello, let me introduce myself. Hello, I am James. I am 22 years old. My ID is this and this. But now, all those things will be called, all those things will be called when I create an object because this is just a template. It's like when you are filling that form, you are told to fill your name, and then you are told to fill your age, and then you are told to fill not student ready for you are told to fill your registration number or the course or the institution that you are in. No, the other thing I can do, I can enroll a course. I don't know whether we enroll. No, I hope you guys enroll a course. And then when I enroll a course, this course I have now to give it, to append it to my. I hope you remember this list. I've talked about a list. A list can be an attribute. Now I can say, okay, if I fill my course, now it will be appended in a list. So what happens? Now my course will be now is like a container. A list is a container which is index. So I draw my course inside a container. And that's what happened. This where I'm talking about drawing your course in a container. The container being the list. Yes. So later on, I have to return something. So I have to return an output. If you don't write return, you not get anything. So you have to return something. So I can return my name and the course I have enrolled. No. Let's come to practice. So here we have an object, Alice. Are we together? I hope you are together. I have an object. Now I have created an object. So this object have been created considering that we have a class student. So the class started. And inside the student, we have the name, Alice Johnson, the age, 20, and the course. Yes, the course you have enrolled. The course you have enrolled. You have enrolled in this course. Yes. Nice. Later on, Later on, after doing all these things, let's see. Now I've created my object. I can create also another object called Bob. So now I want to get there. I want to get how Alice will introduce herself. Let's see how Alice will introduce herself. Hi, I am Alice Johnson, 20 years old. With this is the course. This is the course. No, this is the student ID. Sorry for that. I can't have the course name. Let's say 430 45 here. No. Let's give 5478 yeah. The student ID of Alice is 5467. Yes. Now, given that Alice has enrolled a course, and now when Alice has enrolled a course, he said it must be put in a container. No. If now Alice enrolls a course, I can say Alice.enroll course. Alice has chosen mathematics. She loves mathematics. Later on, Alice again, she's not satisfied in mathematics. She's also satisfied in physics. Yes. She's also wants to enroll in physics. You can see Alice has enrolled in mathematics, and then Alice has enrolled in physics. Yes. Not only Alice can enroll, also Bob can decide I want to enroll a course. Yes. When we talk about enrolling a course, you can remember we said self.name, the name of the student. And later on we talked about the course name. Yes. We can say Bob Smith was enrolled in programming. Like you guys, I hope you have enrolled in programming. Later on, I can decide I just want to print Alice courses. I can decide, okay, I want to print Alice courses. So Alice courses, she enrolled in physics and mathematics. Remember now we are referring to this list, which we have appended or drew something in it. Alice drew mathematics and physics. Yes. Then Bob just drew two. He don't want to to learn so much. So he just drew programming. Yes, nice. So to clarify more on that, so an instance versus a class. An instance, we can have two types of attributes. We can have instance attributes and class attributes. Oh, I wrote in LaTeX format. I didn't know Jupyter notebook sometimes can embarrass me. Anyway, it means that instant attributes are defined in init method or in this constructor, init constructor, with self unique to each object. What I mean is each object has its own copy. So like when you say a template is sent you your details, you create a copy of your own. Yes, each object has its own copy of this attribute. So which means that if I just say like I have like let's talk of scope. I have my own attributes which the other person don't have. Like everyone has his or her unique attributes. Then there's class attributes. Yeah, these class attributes are shared. These are the things you share. Yes. When some of you are undergraduates or postgraduates, you had a school. That's what you share. You shared the name of the school. So let's take my case. We are students at Decoot. So we share the same school. But now we don't share the same name, or sometimes we share the name, but we can't share the same registration number. Sorry for that. Now I create an object A with the student with the name Alice, an object B, student with the name Bob. But now when I print the name of A is Alice, you can see Alice is instance specific, has her unique has a unique name. And Bob has a name, Bob, and is instance specific. But now all these people share a common thing. They share the school. They share the Dedan Kimathi University. Or maybe you share an organization with your colleagues. Yes, or you have nested institutions. Yes. Yes. They share the same school. I hope you understood the difference between instance attributes and class attributes. So now let's now go back to a real world sample. Yes. A sample code for differentiating all these. So let's take a case. I created a bank and God willing. I hope I have one. So I have a bank called Python. I don't know. Let's call it James. No, smart banking. Smart banking. Smart bank. All of you share a bank called Smart Bank. And I myself, I said the rate is 0.02. It would be very nice if those are the ratings, or it will be very, if you're an investor now, this one, I don't know whether you'll be happy. No, immediately I've created a class. I don't put these attributes inside my constructor init method. You can see it clearly. The class attributes are not in the class attributes are not in the constructor. But now the constructor has its own attribute. These are instance specific, but these one are global, can be accessed by everyone. They shared. It's shared by every object that is instantiated on this class. But these are specific. So let me explain this code. Let me explain. If we say you're going to code and I can see time is already gone, yeah, they said you're leaving at 9. So here's the case. So when I initialize my object, it must have the name. Yes, the account holder is the name, John Mwangi. This person has deposited 1,000. And Jen has deposited 500. But now let's come back to a constructor. So in this constructor, we have the account holder, the balance that the person have, and the transaction history. Yes, you have the transaction history. Now, let's talk about this method. Now you want to deposit. Let's take a case. When you create your object, automatically you have zero balance. But now you have to deposit something using these assignment operators. I hope you can see it. Using this, I can say I have deposited some amount, of which I'm the one to put those amount that I have deposited. You can see John Mwangi deposited 1,000. Now, in my transaction history, which is a list, yes, you can have a history. Like on Monday you did this, on Tuesday you did this, on Thursday you did this. All these things are listed. At least the same as listed. If you do to this today, tomorrow you list, the other day you list. And now, what is returned by this deposit is the new balance. Now, like it's updated. If I deposit 1,000, now it's updated. The other thing is, I want to withdraw. Yes, I want to withdraw. So what am I doing? I'm reducing. But when can I withdraw? If the amount I've deposited is less or equal to the balance that I have. So if I just decide to withdraw, I can't withdraw more than what I have in my account. As you can see, this the if the amount is less or they equal to the balance, then this is what I need to do. I subtract the balance with the amount, and then I append my transaction history. Like what I mean, I draw, I list. This is like writing. I've written. I've drawn this amount. I hope we are together. Then the other thing, guys, the other thing I can do is if the amount I want to draw is less, then is return insufficient funds. If you try to pay, for example, sometimes you have insufficient account, your account is less than the date of birth. Yes, is 18. Then it tells you have insufficient fund and you want to buy a commodity worth 7,000 and you have 5,000, then it tells you no, we can't do that transaction. Yes, you have less funds. Now, the other thing you can do, oh, now I want to, you guys, have you ever paid something and the message delays that, for example, you want to pay something urgent, you want to confirm, I don't want to do this two transaction again. Let me confirm my balance. If my balance is constant, no, I have not, no, the transaction has not been performed. But if it have reduced, then it will display. So it will return my bank name, my account, and the balance. We said this attribute is shared in every object. So now let's come and creating accounts. So John has created an account, and the account holder is John. But now John decide to deposit some amount. Yeah, yes, John has some balance and now has deposited has decided to start with 1,000, and Jane has decided to start with 500. Later on, I want to see the account information of John. So what do? I just call this method dot get account information. Yeah, this is Jane. This should have been Jane. No, we are tired. Some minutes ago. As you can see, it's displayed here. The bank is the Smart Bank. Account is the John Mwangi, and the balance is 1,000. How did we get? We got the account information. That is here. Self.bank name. We said this is shared and is Smart Bank. You can see where I wrote my class attribute, Smart Bank. The other thing, John, you can see even we are inside the class, we are also manipulating the class attributes. John has the account holder. The account holder is John, and the balance, as you can see, we have gotten all those information. Now, John, let me comment these ones. I can't comment John and Jane. Something might happen. So here's the thing. Now here, Jane. Jane, forgive me if you're here. So Jane has decided to deposit 2,000. And initially Jane had 1,000. Yes. So what will be displayed? Now, later on, have I run this code? Repeat it. Later on, Jane, let's talk about John. This Jane. This John. Now John deposited 2,000. So what's add up? 1,000 plus 2,000, it comes to 3,000, and it's displayed here. From the method deposit, you can see what is returned is the new balance of John. Now, John can decide to withdraw 11,000. You know, John knows very well he hasn't deposited 11,000. Let's see what's the output. Insufficient funds. This is what M-Pesa tells you, especially when we as comrade are. Let me not talk about it. So here's John. Here's John. Yes, he want to withdraw 11,000. But what did we control here? We said that John cannot withdraw the amount that is less than his balance. Yes, John need to add something in his account. The same happens to Jane. I think Jane can Jane also. I don't think Jane. Even Jane will get the same, suffers the same thing. I, I hope everyone is fine. Can you see my screen? I just want to make sure that everyone can see my screen. Yes, I just hope everyone can see my screen. So, so let's see Jane. Jane has a balance of 2,500 and want to withdraw 11,000. No, it cannot happen. Yes. Let's see how we can get the attribute, the class attribute, another way of getting the class attributes. This is how we get. So you can also use the class name to get the attribute of the attributes of the class. And you can also decide to access the attributes via an object. So you can say John, you can say John will share the same bank with Jane. Yeah. The other thing we talk about is encapsulation. So what is this? So encapsulation in OOP, you're keeping the data safe. You don't want everyone to get information. So it's just one of the fundamental principles in the OOP. It means you are just bundling the data and the method together. It means bundling data. You know how to bundle, to put things together. The data, the method that operate on data into a single unit. So all these things, you're bundling them to a single unit. While also restricting direct access to some of the object's components. This helps in protecting the data, allowing controlled access through methods. So I can control the access, making the code easier to maintain and debug. So I don't think we have to, but let's talk about these concepts. So you can treat an attribute as protected as well as you can treat as an attribute as private. So there's something we can do with this. So if I want to treat my attribute as protected, I just have to put a single underscore before the attribute. And if I want to completely make your life harder in accessing that attribute, I just put two double scores preceded by two double scores. So these are bit easier to access. So the private links are only cannot be accessed outside the class, can only access inside the class. No, this is the hard one. This you can't access it unless you are a good hacker. So let's continue. This is my credit card project. So basically a credit card is like a short-term loan. If you ever gone to a supermarket, you ask, do you have a credit card? So like the bank rents you some money. So if you want to buy something and the end month is approaching and your Kenya shillings approaching zero, the bank can decide to give you a loan. Then this loan you need just to access it via credit card. So now here's the thing. Here's my class credit card. I hope you have understood how a credit card works. Is like is like you have a proof of you can get this loan. Then a credit card, you're given some amount of loan you can get. You can just pay. The bank pays the bank pays, but now this amount will be deducted later on, maybe after 10 months. So here is the my constructor. And don't forget, we have put self, the card holder, the card number, and the credit limit. So the card holder has an attribute. Card holder. He has the name. The credit card has the card holder, has the card number. This is the protected convection. But I tell you why I would prefer name mangling. So basically, name mangling, you can just do it by just take a credit card before here, but we see it in practice. Now I can just set the balance of the credit card to 0. So now this person holding the credit card can decide to make a purchase. So have a credit card with a credit limit of 5,000. The bank is only capable of giving me 5,000. So what do I mean? If this balance, if you want to make the balance, then the balance plus the amount that you want to take must be less than the limit. Yes. So the balance, you add the amount, you have to add the amount so that you don't make the purchase that is above what the limit is giving you. Then you can be sold, yes, John is approved to buy this amount with and he has now he or she now Jane or John have a balance of has a credit balance of self dot balance, the balance that we have. Else, if you don't meet this criteria, your transaction is declined, and the credit limit is exceeded. Now you can also decide to make payment. So you can say, "Oh, I want to pay my credit card." Remember you took a loan and you want to pay it. So what do I do? So I can say self dot balance, then subtract the amount you want to pay. So if I had a balance of 5,000, if I pay some down, then it will reduce. So if I just pay all the amount, then the balance is reduced. So you can be given a message, payment of this amount processed, processed is processed, and the balance is that's what you owe the bank. Is it the bank who owe you? Owe the bank. Yeah. Simple terms. Then the other thing you can do is that you can and don't forget, sorry, I forgot to say about this. This is the private or name mangling. So don't forget the difference between this and this. This is in the protected mode and this in the private mode. Now using my credit card, I can just this no let's first get the card info. So if I want to get the limit, I don't think uh, if you want to get the card number, I don't think you get the whole card number. You just get the. I've never used it, but you can get the last four number. So I can just initialize first with the 9 stars. Then I add like concatenating, like I'm just stitching this together with the rest of the numbers starting from behind. So I can get just the last four numbers and preceded by 4 asterisks. So now I can return the card. I can just return the mask number. I don't need to review the details of the card, and then I can just review the holder of the card. Now here comes the case. Now I can only access the limit through this method, get credit limit, but I cannot just directly access it anyhow. So let's create an object. This is an object. Here's a name. I just put my name as it was required. My name is the card holder. The card holder has a name, the card number, and the credit limit. So my card has a credit limit of 5,000. Then I can say I want to make a purchase of 100 shillings. So when I make a purchase, it is approved because my balance is 5,000 and I want to make a purchase of $100. Is it dollars? Sorry, it's I think dollars. So I can also decide I want to get my card information. What do I do if I want to get the card information? I just say my card dot get information. The card information being the method. I think all these things you understand, guys. As we have talked about these things. But now, here is the thing. I can't directly say I can access my private attribute here. I did put two underscores before writing the credit limit. Let's take a case. I want us to see this error. What will happen? So I can say my card object dot it was underscore credit underscore limit. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I want us to see this error. It has no the attribute credit limit, but can you see it here? Hope you can see it here. This you can only get it via the method, but not getting it directly. But there's a way to crack the code. You can access it by first, the name angling is like you're changing the name, but you can't realize because I just said credit limit, an underscore, the credit limit, double underscore, and the credit limit. But this is what happens. Yes, this is what happens, guys. This is what happens. Can you see? I've just written the credit card. This is the class name. Did we write something like this? No. This was automatically renamed. Like we didn't rename, the Python did it. So my card dot credit card. And don't forget to write an underscore. This is the only way you can directly access the attribute that is in private mode. Yes. Yes, you can see the get information. You can see what happens here. Even if I put how many numbers, only the last four are here. Yes. So let's now talk about this thing. Inheritance. You are like building on existing code. So inheritance allows a class to inherit something. Like you can inherit the genes of your father or mother. Yes. Don't know what you inherit. So here's the thing. I've created my class called vehicle. The vehicle has a constructor and has two methods. I want you when you are shaping, you just remember constructing the methods. And don't forget to write the self. So you can say the vehicle will start only when self dot running is true, and it will start when running is true, and it stop when running is false. Then you can also get the information. I can say this: the model, the year, the make, and the model. I hope you are together, guys. So here's a child class. Like you can inherit this parent class until it's surprise. So I can say a car is a vehicle, yes. So I want to get the characteristics of a vehicle. What do I do? Inside the parentheses of a class, this is where the parentheses. This is the only place the parentheses will occur when defining a class. It have the vehicle. This vehicle is the class, the parent class. This is the parent class. that has been put inside a child class. So all the attributes of the methods of the parent class will be passed to the child class. And how do you make sure? Yes, every time I construct, I make sure that all the attributes I'm inheriting from the parent class are stated inside my constructor and including additional information. All these attributes are here. You can see. But now I have added another information. Doors. Yes, you can have doors. I don't know whether this vehicle is there more than 4 doors. But anyway, let's continue. But now how do I make sure that I have called these attributes? I make sure that I'm using them. You can just use super. You just call the constructor. So when I'm trying to call a constructor from a parent class, I have to use the keyword super, then parenthesis. So we can call this as a method of getting the constructor from the parent class. So now I can add my additional methods. You can see I have open track, I have honk, and other things. Anyway, let's continue, guys. So I've created another child class. This is the motorcycle. The same thing has happened. The motorcycle have no doors, but it has engine size, and I've added it here. And make sure these all attributes are in my parent class constructor. And I've defined what is in my parent constructor. Super dot init. This is the constructor. Parent class constructor. Yes. And I've added additional methods. It's really those who drive motorcycles know this. And this reviving engine. Yeah, so that it sounds. Now I want to use these inherited classes. So I can take this instance, my car. You can see I haven't created an object of my vehicle, but I've created an object of the car. And I have called it my car. My model is Toyota. Is it a make? Yes, the make Toyota. And it's Camry. It's Camry. And and the other thing, it's let's say Nissan. It's a Nissan. Let's talk about Nissan. So my make is Toyota, my model is Nissan, and I bought it in 2023, and it have 4 doors. Doors. Now I want to use the object from the motorcycle. So I have the motorcycle with Harley Davidson. This is the make. I don't know whether you have this one. Have you ever heard, or you have just heard of Shinae Hojin and all those things? And it has the